Greetings, everyone. This is Jeff Wilkerson, Professor of Physics at Luther College, bringing you our weekly update on what to look for in the night sky. This week we're talking about November 15th, 2021. We're going to talk about a lot of different stuff. What we do many times when we watch the videos, and I know you know this because I know you've seen them all. I know you've gone back and watched them all multiple times. What we do many times is we pick one thing and focus on that thing and say, here's a good thing to be looking for this week, and maybe a couple other things around that, but our focus is one major thing. This week, we're going to talk about a lot of different things, and we got a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and so it's a great week to be observing. Little hint, it's always a great week to be observing, but there's a lot of interesting stuff going on this week, and let's jump in with a reference back to what we've talked about the past couple of weeks, where we've talked about Jupiter, Saturn, and then last week, Venus moving against the background stars and seeing those in the evening sky. And I hope you had a chance to go out and watch those beautiful planets in the evening sky. What's going to maybe become available to you in the coming weeks will be Mars in the morning sky. So right now, Mars is rising a little bit, maybe an hour before the sun comes up. That's probably not quite enough to pull it out of the glow of the sun, but why not try? You know, if you go out and you try, and you'll see interesting other things, and maybe a pair of binoculars in the glow, looking into the glow of the sun, you might start to see red Mars popping out of there, and maybe by the end of the month. Now, as we've talked about the last couple of weeks, the planets like to move in an eastwardly direction against the background stars, and that hurts Mars here, right? Because it's moving into that sunrise and makes it harder for it to pull out into the morning sky. But over the next few weeks, keep an eye on it and see if you can see Mars joining the other planets in the sky. We'll be losing Venus here before too long, but Mars will pop out, and it's a great thing for us to keep track of. So there's another project, another planet observing project for you to work on. Now, let's move to the Leonid meteor shower that peaks this week. It's been going on. There's been some Leonid meteors around, but it's not. The Leonid meteors are never. I shouldn't say never great. They're sort of boom or bust. Some years we have lots and lots of them for a very brief window, and other years we have very few of them. And this will be a year when we don't have a lot of them, and there are 10 or so an hour would be what my guess is at the peak. And we're plagued by the moon. The moon's filling out this week. We're going to talk about the moon here in a moment. But so my recommendation is for this week, go out in the early morning of the 16th and the 17th. That's Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning are probably your best mornings. It might peak Wednesday morning into Thursday morning, Wednesday night, Thursday morning, but you're going to have more moon the later in the week you go and more trouble seeing these meteors. So early in the morning on the 16th, early in the morning on the 17th, Leo looks like this. We got this triangle tail with Dana Bola down here. And you've got, oh, I didn't draw that triangle well, did I? Coming back here to Regulus is the brightest star. And then this sickle shape for the head up here. I tweeted a photo of this, just a cell phone photo of this one morning this past week. You can go out and find that on my Twitter if you want to find that image of Leo hanging in the morning sky. Leo will rise midnight or a little after midnight for most folks, and that's the Leonid meteor shower. The radiant is right here. Remember, the radiant is where the meteors look like they're coming from. They could go out in all directions from there. As you later in the night, the moon will have moved further and maybe even set for you. So you really are better off at 3 in the morning or 4 in the morning or 5 in the morning trying to look for a few Leonid meteors. It's not going to be a great shower, I don't think, and you are going to have moon interference. But it's worth trying. I mean, why not go out and check out Leo and check out some Leonid meteors. Now, with the moon interference that we're talking about, let's go ahead and talk about what the moon's going to be doing. On the evening of the 17th, so now we're talking about, this is evening for me here in the central part of North America. You may be watching someplace else, and you can work on that time difference. We're 5 or 6 hours away. We just switched the clock. It always messes me up when we switch the clock. But we're, I believe, 6 hours now with this clock change behind universal time. So you can figure that out for yourself wherever you are. On the evening of the 17th, the moon is filling out and causing us problems for seeing the Leonid meteors. So the 17th, you go out in the morning of the 17th and look for your Leonid meteors. Then go out on the evening of the 17th And we'll use the moon, which will be about 80% full on that evening, to do a couple of things for us. We're going to use it as a guide. First of all, it's about 10 degrees, and you'll remember, if you've been watching this, 10 degrees is about the width of your fist at arm's length. It's about a fist width above the star Menkar. Okay, Menkar is about a magnitude 2.5 star. It should still be bright enough to still be visible in the glow of this very bright moon, but it's not a super bright star. But Menkar is the brightest star in the constellation Cetus, and so we're just going to use this moon as a guide to find us a new star. If we haven't seen Menkar before, if we haven't seen the constellation Cetus before, here we are. We're going to do this again next week if we remember to do the same sort of thing with a different star. But the moon here is going to guide us to Menkar and Cetus, and that's all we're going to do with it. We're going to say, let's learn a new star. If we learn one new star each week, we'll have the sky learned pretty well in a couple of years, probably faster than that. And so this is our chance here to kind of get a sense of where Menkar and Cetus are. And you can look Cetus up on a phone app or a star chart or something like that and get a sense of where the other stars are. But now, here, if you got a little telescope, get it out on the evening of the 17th. Go and look at the moon right here, and just over a degree north of the moon, above the moon, is Uranus. And this is your chance to see Uranus. Uranus is very hard to pick out from the background stars, but now being so close to the moon, you find the moon and push the moon down to the south part of your field of view. Your telescope field of view might be inverted, so you might have to push it to the top of the field of view. But you see, you want to push it to the edge of your field of view, and you will see a glowing disk there that, for me, when I see it in a small telescope, I can see it and say, yeah, I don't think that's a star. It looks just a little bit bigger and a little bit less twinkly and a little bit more greenish bluish than most of the stars, and a little more disk-like, and I can get a sense that that's Uranus there. And so this is your chance. Go out. And so you got a chance to use the moon on the evening of the 17th to find a couple of objects you've maybe never seen before, and maybe or seen and not known what they were and not noticed in Menkar, Alpha Ceti, and in the Uranus. A lot of people haven't seen that, and this is a great opportunity to go out and find that planet. Now, just so you know how bad the moon is, plaguing our Leonid meteors, a day and a half later, on the morning of the 19th, the moon will have filled out. We know it will have filled out given the geometry that we have to have, because we've got a partial lunar eclipse. So there's a partial lunar eclipse on the morning of the 19th for those of us here in North America. Where I am, this eclipse is going to start somewhere around midnight, local time, Central Standard Time. I have to remember it's not daylight savings time. These things always mess me up. The eclipse is a long one, and so it's going to start about midnight and last the rest of the night, and for me it's going to peak somewhere. It'll be the most eclipsed. Again, it's just a partial eclipse, but it'll be the most eclipsed about 3 in the morning, and the moon will be sitting just above the Hyades. The Hyades is this V of stars in Taurus with the bright orange Aldebaran down at the base of it. So even without the eclipse, this is a beautiful view to use the moon with the Hyades star cluster and Aldebaran right there. And so this is something worth going and observing. It'd be worth going and observing even without the eclipse. But you got an eclipse. So I hope you get a chance to see some of these things, okay? See 1 or 2 Leonid meteors. Great. Probably not going to see Mars yet, but start looking for it and see if you can have a chance to pick Mars out of the glow of the morning sky. Look for this eclipse near the Hyades on Friday morning with the moon there, and then a couple of days earlier in the evening, use the moon to help you find a couple of new objects. Uranus, right here. Great. Good luck observing, everybody. I hope you have a good week, and we'll have something different for you next week.